Holli Wolf joins us this morning, and Holli, as always, you brought in a special guest. Who'd you bring in with you this morning?
Brought in Kim Combs. She's come a couple times with us. She is our emergency room manager, and she's also a nurse practitioner. So it's National Stroke Awareness Month, and I thought it would be a good time to give some information about that, and she'd be the perfect person to give it.
Excellent. And Kim, we just looked, and one more time, and you will no longer be a special guest. You'll be considered a regular. So
That's right.
Just give you a heads up on that.
She loves it. She loves coming with me.
Well, excellent. So Stroke Awareness Month.
Yes.
What should people know?
People should know that when you suspect you have a stroke, the first thing you need to do is call 911 because time is of the essence. We look at the symptoms of strokes. It's an easy way to remember is fast. Facial drooping, arm weakness is what they also, but it could be leg weakness, anything one side weakness, numbness, tingling, speech difficulty, either recognizing and understanding speech or being able to speak. If anyone notices that or you notice that in a family member, call 911 immediately because if it's within 3 to 4 hours, we can administer clot-busting drugs that can actually pretty much take care of the stroke symptoms and people can make a full recovery.
Really?
Yes. So it's always good to know the exact time it happened. Now, sometimes, unfortunately, people wake up with symptoms and you don't know, and there's other treatments and things that we can do. But emergency medical services, the guys in the ambulances know how to recognize a stroke, and if it's within the time window, they may bypass Titusville and go directly to a stroke center where you can get treatment more quickly. We can identify and we can administer the drugs, but sometimes going to a stroke center immediately is more helpful.
And I don't know about you, and I'm sure it really doesn't matter. The point is if you're experiencing this, you do something. But how many people start to feel these symptoms and they think, oh, I'm just going to lay down and sleep it off? Or
a lot of people do that. That's why it's really important that you recognize it immediately and do something. Don't wait and see if it goes away. If it does go away, it might be what they call a TIA, a mini stroke, and that's often a precursor to a complete stroke, and so it's always good to get checked out. If the symptoms diminish and go away, then great. That's fantastic, but you still need to be checked out immediately.
So should you be concerned if any one of these 4 things or 3 things happen?
Yes.
Okay.
Also, if there's loss of balance or some new onset confusion, those are not other symptoms. There's a lot of different things. If anything just seems off neurologically with the brain, call 911.
Yeah. Or if you notice it in a loved one, because they might, the person that's experiencing it might not necessarily recognize it, or they might but not, especially if there's confusion involved with it. So if you're noticing that your loved one's having these symptoms, you need to get them to the ER right away.
Like face drooping. I've read stories where it's a friend or a loved one that you're having a conversation and you notice that like one side of their face kind of droops a little bit, but the person doesn't notice that right away.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. So any one of those things, if something seems off,
call 911.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, you're probably in the heat of the moment, so you're probably trying to figure things out. Should you take a moment to see the time just to be sure?
Yeah, having a good idea of the time it starts is always very important to us. I mean, if it's within 10 or 15 minutes, obviously, that's a good enough time frame. So we have an idea, because we immediately can get someone to the CAT scan and make sure, because we administer drugs that bust up the clot, but you have to there's 2 types of strokes. One's caused by clots, one's caused by bleeding. You don't want to give those types of drugs to somebody that's having a stroke caused by bleeding. So it's really imperative that we get them right into a CAT scan and get that taken care of so that then we can decide what we're going to do
from there. Okay. Great information, as always, this morning. There's been some exciting news, Holli.
Yeah, we're going to have 2 cardiologists. We had Dr. Flores come to the hospital. He's no longer, I'm not sure if he retired or if he just moved on somewhere else, but he's not with Meadville Medical Center anymore. So we have 2 new cardiologists coming in July. Dr. Wilson is coming and Dr. Friedel is also coming. So we're excited to have them. Don't know the particulars as to which days they'll be here, but they'll be at Meadville Medical Center. They're with the cardiology group there, and they'll also be seeing patients at Titusville Area Hospital. So it'll be great to have them. on the team, there's a lot of people that need, you know, that have heart attacks and things like that, and have to travel over to Meadville. So it'll be great to have them just here local in Titusville, that if someone needs a follow-up appointment, they can be seen here. So that'll be really great. People are excited about that. So
Now, should they wait to call to try to schedule appointments, or is that something that...
No, they can, you know, they can start calling now, and the number is 827-8815, and in fact, that'll ring over to the cardiology office in Meadville. So,
Okay.
And they do all the scheduling for us, so so they know exactly when they're going to be here and things like that. So, yeah, they can start making, if they have a follow-up appointment scheduled in Meadville, they can, and if it's in, you know, July or August, they can get that changed to have it done here in Titusville.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Been a really busy spring for you folks. Tinesta Health Center?
Yeah, Tinesta Health Center is doing really well. I'm super happy about it. You know, of course, living in Tinesta, everybody is happy about it there. We're doing lab draws there. We have
nice.
quite a few every single day. People walking in needing their labs done that would otherwise have to drive to Titusville to get it done. So it's going really well. Lots of patients. We have walk-in patients, scheduled patients. We're seeing kiddos, you know, clear up to the elderly. So it's a really good thing. She even did stitches. Like the second day she was there, somebody walked
Really?
in and needed stitches, and she stitched them up. So yeah.
I mean, for the community, that's got to be just a nice feeling to have that right there.
Yeah. It is, and I everybody's really happy about it. So yeah, I'm getting calls. What are you going to do next?
Slow up.
Well, yeah,
slow up.
exactly.
Now, well, I know what you're going to do next. You got a golf outing coming up.
I know. That's in 2 weeks from today. And yeah. Kim walked to my office, and there's all the raffle prizes everywhere. You could hardly make
Nice.
room. But yeah, so it's exciting. It's been extremely busy. Lots going on. We have hospital week this week. So we had a picnic for our staff. Grilled out on Monday. It was cold and rainy, but it was still good. We flipped burgers.
Who was
and
the
hot
grill
dogs,
master?
and Lee.
Nice.
Yeah, Lee was the grill master, and Jill Neely helped, and I helped, and Brenda Burnett served. So, and then we had all the other food inside and let them eat inside. We didn't make them eat outside in the rain.
I'm starting to wonder, because whenever there's like good food around, Lee seems to be popping up.
Yeah.
We were at the 50th anniversary of the sports medicine.
Oh yes, yeah,
What a spread there.
yeah.
Lee was there for that.
I know.
So-
He likes good food.
He
Who
does.
doesn't, right?
That's right. That's right. Let's get back to Stroke Awareness Month for a second. This is wonderful information, and I know that they've really been trying to push this out there for folks to recognize symptoms. Since they've been doing this, has there been an increase in just awareness when somebody's having a stroke, or is it still a delayed response, do you think?
I think there's more awareness, but we still need to get the word out. We still have people that will drive in and say, last night I started feeling kind of numbness and tingling, and I woke up and it was still that way this morning. And in a lot of cases, they're not major strokes. Like, people do tend to recognize the major, where a large part of the brain is affected, where they have major symptoms. But sometimes those smaller ones, it would be nice if they had recognized what was going on early on.
So what's sort of the time frame that somebody's not going to be affected, dramatically?
If we can get them from the time that they first notice symptoms, we have 3, and in some cases 4.5 hours. There's some specific criteria that the doctors have to look at, but generally the rule is 3 hours to work with. So we need them to get to the hospital right away so we can get them to the CAT scan, because there's a half an hour time, window that you have to get them in, get the study done, and get it read before then you can make the determination if they're eligible for the clot busting, because there are things that you have to go through. If somebody has bleeding issues, we can't give them the clot busting drugs because it may cause detrimental bleeding elsewhere. So there's a lot to consider, and you have to do that all in that window of time. So
Wow.
it's really, really important to call 911, because EMS can let us know ahead of time it's coming. So we can have the bed ready, we can have the CAT scan warmed up and ready to go. It just expedites everything versus walking in the door. We can still do it, but it makes it a lot tougher.
How much has changed in the last 10, 15 years, just in terms of how technology has played a role in recognizing stroke? Has it changed much or not as much as other things in the world of health?
It's changed a lot. I mean, the CT scanners and in a lot of places, we don't typically use MRI, but stroke centers use MRIs now so that you can recognize things more quickly and with better detail. And also, the big stroke centers have neurosurgeons that can go in. If they can't use the clot-busting drugs, they can actually thread a catheter up into the brain and pull the clot out in some cases. So that's why they send people to stroke centers immediately if they recognize it in the field and are able to do that.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it is. It's amazing.
But Holly, just to be able to, again, when you look around and see what's around us, I mean, we're so fortunate to have Titusville Area Hospital here. We're fortunate to have Meadville Medical Center. You're not having to go 2 hours or an hour away. You can get life-saving treatment right here in our own backyard.
Yeah.
And again, just adding the Titusville Health Center, that's just an added bonus for those folks in Titusville. Again, it's not a half-hour trip to get someplace.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we can even do EKGs in Titusville as well. So we're trying to offer as much as we can there. And but like you said, with the technology, we're always trying to upgrade our technology at the hospital too. So I mean, obviously, we're never going to be able to compete with a stroke center, but we want to be able to offer the best that we can to our patients that do come in. So and we're doing a pretty good job with that.
Yeah,
So,
we got great people, so that helps too.
Yeah.
You're watching The Morning Drill on Stream Television in Armstrong and listening to it on the Allegheny News Talk Sports Network. Well, speaking of this wonderful technology and looking to make upgrades and improvements, things like the golf outing, this is how the community can help support various projects at the hospital.
Yeah, so all of our proceeds from the golf outing will go to the emergency department renovations, which we're hoping to begin in the next 2 months. So we're getting there, and it's pretty exciting. We're finally have got through all the red tape, and we're ready to go with it. So and to be honest, we've really received a lot. The community has been very gracious, even from door prizes for the golf tournament to sponsoring the golf tournament. So we've got a lot, and it's really great to see that they're supporting the hospital and wanting to give back. Even for National Hospital Week, a lot of companies gave gift certificates for our giveaways and things like that. So it's a great thing.
Kim, I know we talked about this before, but when you look at remodeling the emergency room, you talk about time, and every second counts. I mean, it does come down to seconds, doesn't it?
It does.
How important was the configuration of the emergency room to factor in, if somebody comes in for this, we can get them here quickly, or we can, maybe make it more efficient if we do this. Did that play a role in any of the design?
It definitely did. We're streamlining things so everything, it hasn't been renovated for I don't even know how many years. So
600 years, I think.
Yeah, probably.
Since it opened.
So we're adding a room, which is huge. It doesn't sound like much, but going from 6 to 7 just does add another place where we can see people move things more quickly. But also everything's going to be arranged so that we can move people more smoothly. We're going to actually have walls between our 3 rooms that now have curtains, so people in room 1 won't hear what's going on in room 3. So it's just going to work so much better. And 2 of the areas will have breakaway walls so that if I need a big room to work a trauma, we can do that. So a lot of thought went into it.
So Holly, when I know you'd like to see this completed by tomorrow.
Yes.
But realistically, what is there a sort of a time frame?
Yeah, I mean, at least 9 months to a year. We're going to have to work within the space, the current ER space. So we're going to have to do it in phases within that space. We are hoping that we could move the ER to our SBU area, but the Department of Health didn't approve that. So we're going to have to kind of work within the ER while they're renovating it. Obviously, we're going to be sectioning off. So it's going to be a process, but it's going to be so worth it in the end.
Does that complicate things for you folks?
Tremendously. I've already had several
But you like
nurses
challenges.
threaten to take a 1-year sabbatical. I'm approving no leave during that time. So it will be a challenge because we'll be down on rooms. So we'll have to be shuffling and being creative, but that's what ER nurses do. So it'll be okay.
And am I wrong in thinking that it was just National Nurses Week last week?
It was.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we celebrated that at the hospital too. So
Well, you
lots
talk
of
about
lots of fun
folks who are
things.
just, oh my gosh, compassionate. The stuff that they see and go through,
Yeah.
I couldn't even imagine.
Yeah, we have some great nurses, and they just keep on going.
You know what? I love seeing them out with their families, or and something happens, and they're the first ones that jump up
Oh yeah,
Right.
and run over to a situation. Even if it's the littlest thing at a ball game or something like that.
yeah,
They're up and over and help. It's incredible to see, and you just kind of sit back and you think, well, two things. One, I wish I would have jumped up into that. But,
I wish I was the hero.
yeah, no, but you think these people are like that, outside of work. I mean,
Yeah.
they're amazing people.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah, we have a great group of nurses there, in the ER and up on the floor and the OR, and they all do a wonderful job. And a lot of them have been there for years. So,
There's a lot of experience in that hospital.
yeah, there is.
how important is that when they get to know the people, or they live and work, in the community? Does that help when somebody comes in and there's an issue? I mean, do they know in the back of their mind? And I realize not for everybody, but sometimes like, okay, I know they were in here just a couple months ago, that kind of go through the checklist.
Yeah. And I think that patients like that because, they like to be able to see the nurses that they had previously, and, it gives them a little bit more comfort, I think.
It's funny. It seems like with doctors or car dealers, when you sit down to buy a car, you don't want to tell the salesperson the important information. Same with the doctor, right? Sometimes it's hard for folks when they're in there to say what's wrong, or to, share what's happening with their personal doctor or a nurse. But how important is it, especially when we're talking about, again, time, to be honest and get everything out there?
That allows us to treat a patient effectively. If we have to try to figure things out and we don't have all the information right up front, it slows down the process and it just makes things a lot tougher. So if people can just tell us what's going on, and there's nothing we haven't heard, so we might as well just lay it
Nothing
all
you
out
haven't
there.
seen?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Holly, a couple big things happening. Let's recap those events.
Well, the golf tournament's coming up in a couple weeks. If anyone wants to donate or sponsor, just give me a call at the hospital, 827-8717, or they could get on our website to do that as well for sponsorships. We also have a Powerful Tools for Caregivers class coming up on July 11th. So it's a 6-week class. All the information is on the Titusville Hospital website as well. So it's for the caregivers to try to teach them ways to cope and things like that, because a lot of times the caregivers, they get overwhelmed too at some point, and they need to realize that they need to take care of themselves as well. So it's a really great class. LECOM is assisting with the class, and they're going to come down to the hospital. It's going to be held right here in Titusville at the hospital. So it's a free class, so people can get online and register, and all the information's on there. It's a few months out, but it should be a really great class.
Wonderful. Kim, real quick, Stroke Awareness Month. You want to run through FAST one more time?
FAST. If you recognize these in yourself or any other person around you: facial drooping, arm or leg weakness, any weakness, speech difficulty, either speaking or understanding speech, any confusion, balance problems, time is of the essence, call 911.
Holly, what'd you learn today?
I learned, well, it's not necessarily what I learned today. It's what I've learned. I can't change the question.
Kim, did you learn anything?
Come on, I want to tell you. It's really, this community is really great. I mean, honestly, everyone who's so willing to donate and things like that and step up and help, it's really great.
Thank you.
Yes.